Even the brightest stars of Hollywood's golden age had their own peculiar habits, proving they were as human as the rest of us. Some kept their obsessions behind closed doors, while others embraced them wholeheartedly in private. And let's be honest, a few of these addictions are so unexpected they just might blow your mind. Ann-Margret. Motorcycles. Ann-Margret wasn't just a fan of motorcycles, she lived for them. Whether zooming through town or taking a spin on set, motorcycles gave her a sense of freedom like nothing else. For her, it wasn't just about the ride, it was about the rush. She was known to embrace her high-energy, fearless personality while riding, and people couldn't help but admire how effortlessly she balanced glamour with grit. Motorcycles weren't just a hobby, they were her ultimate escape. Audrey Hepburn. Pasta. Audrey Hepburn had a soft spot for pasta, especially spaghetti. She couldn't resist a good plate, no matter how busy or glamorous her life was. It wasn't just food for her, it was comfort, a grounding reminder of simple pleasures amidst all the glitz and glamour. People might associate her with elegance, but she loved diving into a hearty bowl of pasta. For Audrey, pasta wasn't just a meal, it was pure joy. Ava Gardner, Coca-Cola. Ava Gardner was Coca-Cola's unofficial biggest fan. She couldn't go a day without it. Her fridge was always stocked, bottles chilled to perfection. Forget champagne or fancy cocktails. For Ava, Coke was the ultimate drink. She joked it was her version of bubbly, but let's be honest, she probably loved it way more. If she wasn't busy lighting up the silver screen, you'd likely find her at home, Coke in hand, savoring every sip. Barbara Stanwyck. Horses. Barbara Stanwyck had a love for horses that ran deep. Whenever she wasn't on set, you'd find her out riding, galloping across open fields or taking leisurely rides through the countryside. It wasn't just a hobby, it was her sanctuary, a way to escape Hollywood's chaos. For Barbara, horseback riding wasn't about showing off, it was about finding peace, reconnecting with nature, and letting the world fade away, one ride at a time. Bette Davis. Cigarettes. Bette Davis smoked like it was her personal mission. On set, off set, during interviews, her cigarette was never far from her hand. She didn't care who saw her puffing away. It was her thing, that iconic raspy voice, practically marinated in tobacco. Directors even had to cut scenes because of the smoke she created. For Bette, smoking wasn't just a habit, it was part of her signature presence. Bing Crosby. Golf. Bing Crosby didn't just enjoy golf, he lived for it. The man could skip Hollywood events just to hit the green. For Bing, golf wasn't just a game, it was his escape. Whether perfecting his swing or enjoying the quiet serenity of the course, he found solace on the fairway. Golf wasn't just a pastime for him, it was a way to unwind, focus, and forget about the pressures of stardom. Cary Grant. LSD. Cary Grant wasn't your average Hollywood star. He took self-discovery to a whole new level. Experimenting with LSD in the 1950s, he believed the drug gave him clarity and unlocked parts of his mind he didn't know existed. It wasn't a recreational thing, it was personal. For Cary, LSD wasn't about rebellion. It was about finding a deeper understanding of himself in a world that always demanded perfection. Charlie Chaplin. Younger women. Charlie Chaplin's love life often raised eyebrows, but he didn't care. He had a well-documented preference for younger women, a trait that became as infamous as his iconic tramp character. The tabloids loved to talk about it, and Chaplin never shied away from the attention. For him, relationships with younger women weren't just a phase, they were part of his unapologetic, larger-than-life persona. Clark Gable. Chewing gum. Clark Gable had a secret weapon for nerves, chewing gum. Every time he needed a boost or felt jittery, out came a stick. He'd chew with determination, sometimes even before big scenes. The funny part? He'd occasionally forget to spit it out and would deliver lines mid-chew, much to everyone's amusement. For Gable, gum wasn't just a snack, it was his on-set security blanket. Dean Martin. Whiskey. Dean Martin's love for whiskey wasn't just an act, it was the real deal. Whether it was a nightcap or a companion during his Rat Pack performances, whiskey was always within reach. It was part of his cool, laid-back image, blending seamlessly with his charm. For Dean, whiskey wasn't just a drink, it was a signature part of the effortless style that made him a legend. Debbie Reynolds, collecting Hollywood memorabilia. Debbie Reynolds didn't just love Hollywood, she preserved it. From costumes to props, she collected pieces of Tinseltown history like treasures. Her collection wasn't just a hobby, it was her way of keeping the magic alive. Every item told a story, and Debbie treated them with care, as if they were extensions of the stars who once used them. For her, collecting memorabilia wasn't just a passion, it was a legacy. Edvard Grieg carried a figurine of a frog for luck. Edvard Grieg wasn't one to take chances with his performances. He always carried a small frog figurine in his coat pocket as a good luck charm. Whether he was composing or conducting, the frog was right there with him, like a tiny companion keeping the nerves at bay. For Grieg, that little figurine wasn't just an object, it was a symbol of comfort and confidence. Elizabeth Taylor, diamonds. Elizabeth Taylor didn't just wear diamonds, she adored them. Her jewelry collection was legendary, boasting pieces like the Krupp diamond and the Taj Mahal necklace. Each gem was more than just an accessory, it was a piece of her personality. For Elizabeth, diamonds weren't just shiny baubles. They were her way of expressing her larger-than-life elegance, making her sparkle both on and off the screen. Erik Satie ate only white foods and hoarded umbrellas. Erik Satie's eating habits were as eccentric as his music. He followed a strict diet of white foods, think rice, eggs, and coconut. On top of that, he had a peculiar obsession with umbrellas, collecting over 100 of them. His routines baffled everyone, but for Satie, these quirks weren't just oddities. They were rituals that shaped his unique artistic identity. Errol Flynn. Danger. Danger wasn't just something Errol Flynn acted out on screen. It was his way of life. Whether sailing through storms or diving into personal scandals, Flynn chased thrills like they were going out of style. He lived for the rush, treating life like one big swashbuckling adventure. For Errol, danger wasn't just a risk, it was the pulse that kept him alive. Frank Sinatra, ice cream. Frank Sinatra's ultimate indulgence wasn't a fancy drink or a lavish dinner, it was ice cream. After almost every show, he'd sneak away for a scoop or three, savoring the creamy, sugary goodness. No matter how late it was, ice cream was his comfort food, his reward. For Frank, it wasn't just a treat, it was a sweet way to unwind from the spotlight. Franz Schubert slept with his glasses on. Franz Schubert's relationship with his glasses was practically inseparable. His poor eyesight meant he wore them constantly, even while sleeping. For Schubert, those glasses weren't just a tool. They were an extension of himself, ensuring he could compose, read, and exist without missing a single detail, even in his dreams. Fred Astaire. Golf. Fred Astaire didn't just dance his way into history, he danced his way to the golf course. Whether heading to the green or practicing his swing, he always brought his signature rhythm with him. Golf wasn't just a game for Fred. It was his way to relax and unwind. For him, every round of golf was a performance, blending precision and grace with his unmistakable charm. Gary Cooper, hunting. Gary Cooper had a love for the wild that matched his stoic, rugged image. Hunting wasn't just a hobby for him, it was his escape. Whether tracking game or soaking in the solitude of nature, Cooper found peace in the great outdoors. For Gary, the thrill of the hunt wasn't about trophies. It was about reconnecting with a simpler, more grounded way of life. Gene Kelly. Control. Gene Kelly was a perfectionist to his core. Every scene, every dance move, every tiny detail had to be flawless. On set, he was known for micromanaging everything to ensure perfection. His obsession with control extended beyond his performances, shaping his entire creative process. For Gene, control wasn't just a habit, It was the secret behind his legendary artistry. Grace Kelly. Hats. Grace Kelly's elegance wasn't complete without her signature hats. She owned an extensive collection, with each piece carefully selected to complement her timeless style. Hats were more than just an accessory for Grace. They were the finishing touch to her sophisticated image. For her, a well-chosen hat wasn't just fashion. It was a statement. Gregory Peck. Books. Gregory Peck loved getting lost in a good book. Between takes on set, he'd be found engrossed in novels, completely absorbed in other worlds. Reading wasn't just a pastime for Gregory. It was his way of staying grounded amidst the chaos of Hollywood. For him, books weren't just entertainment. They were nourishment for his mind. Greta Garbo. Isolation. Greta Garbo's greatest craving wasn't fame or fortune. It was solitude. She cherished her alone time, often retreating from the spotlight to preserve her peace. Whether taking long walks or disappearing to remote locations, she guarded her privacy fiercely. For Garbo, isolation wasn't loneliness. It was freedom, a chance to breathe away from the chaos of stardom. Henry Fonda. Fishing. Henry Fonda's love for fishing was more than just a hobby. It was his escape. Whenever he could get away from Hollywood's hectic pace, he'd disappear to a quiet spot by the water, rod in hand. Fishing wasn't about the catch for Henry. It was about the serenity, the solitude, and the chance to disconnect from the pressures of fame. He found joy in the simple act of waiting, enjoying the calm of nature while casting his line. For Fonda, fishing wasn't just relaxation. It was a way to recharge, clear his mind, and connect with the outdoors in a deeply personal way. Humphrey Bogart. Chess. Humphrey Bogart's passion for chess wasn't just a casual pastime. It was an obsession. Whether on set, at home, or in between takes, Bogey would pull out a board and challenge anyone willing to play. His competitive streak extended beyond acting, and he relished the strategy and mental challenge of the game. Crew members, co-stars, and even directors weren't safe from his chess enthusiasm. For Bogart, chess wasn't just a game. It was an intellectual escape, a way to keep his mind sharp and unwind from the stress of the film industry. James Cagney. Dancing. James Cagney's love for dancing was as much a part of him as his tough guy screen persona. Between scenes, you could often find him tapping his feet or breaking into a full tap routine. For Cagney, dancing wasn't just an on-screen talent, it was a source of joy and expression in his everyday life. Music wasn't even necessary, his rhythmic moves could light up any space. Cagney's passion for dancing reflected his vibrant personality and dedication to his craft, making him unforgettable both on and off the stage. James Dean. Fast cars. James Dean's need for speed wasn't just a thrill, it was a lifestyle. He loved fast cars and the adrenaline rush they brought. Whether he was racing on a track or cruising down the highway, he felt most alive behind the wheel of a powerful machine. For Dean, driving wasn't just about transportation, it was about freedom, pushing boundaries, and living in the moment. Tragically, his passion for speed was also his undoing. The fatal crash in his Porsche 550 Spider in 1955 cut his life short, but it cemented his legacy as a rebel who lived and died on his own terms. Jayne Mansfield. Pink. Jayne Mansfield didn't just love pink, she lived in it. Everything she owned, from her cars to her house, was drenched in shades of pink. Even her poodles were dyed to match her favorite color. For Mansfield, pink wasn't just a color, it was a statement, a reflection of her bold, bubbly personality. She embraced it as a way to stand out in Hollywood's golden age, creating a signature style that was as unforgettable as her screen presence. Pink wasn't just a preference for Jayne, it was her brand, a vibrant extension of who she was. Jean Harlow. Bleach. Jean Harlow's platinum blonde hair was her trademark, but maintaining it was no small feat. She was so committed to her iconic look that bleaching her hair became a full-time ritual. The process was intense, requiring constant treatments to keep her locks shining bright. Harlow once joked that her real addiction wasn't fame or luxury, it was peroxide. Her dedication to maintaining her bombshell image set her apart in Hollywood, making her a trendsetter of her time. For Harlow, bleach wasn't just a beauty tool, it was the secret ingredient to her timeless allure. Joan Crawford. Cleanliness. Joan Crawford didn't just clean, she scrubbed, polished, and perfected every surface in sight. Her obsession with cleanliness was legendary. Floors weren't clean unless they gleamed like mirrors, and everything in her home had to be impeccably organized. For Joan, cleaning wasn't just a chore, it was a ritual. It gave her a sense of control in a chaotic world. Her spotless standards became a part of her larger-than-life image, showing that she was as meticulous off-screen as she was in front of the camera. Joan Fontaine. Gossip. Joan Fontaine had a knack for stirring the pot. Known as one of Hollywood's top gossips, she loved swapping stories and spilling secrets. Whether at a glamorous party or during quiet chats, she had a way of making even the smallest detail sound scandalous. Joan's penchant for gossip wasn't just about sharing news, it was her way of staying connected in the high-stakes world of Hollywood. Her sharp wit and quick tongue made her a fixture in social circles, but it also earned her a reputation for being as intriguing as the stories she told. Judy Garland. Pills. Judy Garland's reliance on pills began during her childhood in Hollywood. Handlers pushed her to take pep pills to stay energized for grueling rehearsals and shoots, and then sleeping pills to force her into rest at night. It was a vicious cycle she couldn't escape, tied to the immense pressure to perform, stay thin, and maintain her star image. For Judy, pills became both a coping mechanism and a prison, highlighting the dark side of fame in an unforgiving industry. Katharine Hepburn. Swimming. Katharine Hepburn's daily swim wasn't just a routine, it was her therapy. Regardless of the weather, she'd dive into icy waters, letting the cold wash away her worries. Swimming wasn't just exercise for Katharine, it was her reset button, a moment of clarity in an otherwise hectic world. The water gave her peace, strength, and a sense of freedom. For her, it wasn't about staying fit. It was about staying grounded and connected to herself. Lana Turner. Shopping. Lana Turner's love for shopping was unmatched. She had an eye for the latest trends and indulged in retail therapy whenever possible. Lana's wardrobe wasn't just stylish. It was legendary, filled with chic outfits that kept her looking glamorous at all times. Shopping wasn't just about fashion for her. It was about control, comfort, and embracing the luxuries that came with her Hollywood stardom. For Lana, a day of shopping wasn't just a pastime, it was a way of life. Lauren Bacall. Cigarettes. Lauren Bacall's iconic husky voice wasn't entirely natural. It came with a side of heavy smoking. Cigarettes were her constant companion, on and off the screen. The smoky rasp became her signature, adding to her sultry, unforgettable presence. Bacall embraced her habit without apology, even as it shaped her allure. For Lauren, smoking wasn't just a habit, it was part of the mystique that made her a Hollywood legend. Lucille Ball. Coffee. Lucille Ball ran on coffee, gallons of it. From early mornings on set to late-night rehearsals, caffeine fueled her legendary energy. Coffee wasn't just a drink for Lucille, it was her lifeline, keeping her sharp, focused, and ready for her next comedic masterpiece. It became as much a part of her routine as her impeccable timing. For Lucille, coffee wasn't just a beverage. It was her secret weapon for conquering the chaos of showbiz. Ludwig van Beethoven counted exactly 60 coffee beans for each cup. Beethoven's precision didn't stop with his music. It extended to his coffee. He was so meticulous that he counted exactly 60 coffee beans for every cup. No more, no less. This ritual wasn't just about making coffee. It was about creating the perfect brew to fuel his genius. For Beethoven, even the smallest details mattered, and his coffee habit was a reflection of the same obsessive perfectionism that shaped his legendary compositions. Mae West. Perfume. Mae West believed in leaving an impression, and for her, perfume was the ultimate tool. She didn't just wear it, she bathed in it, ensuring her signature scent lingered long after she left a room. May considered perfume an extension of her charm, a secret weapon in her arsenal of allure. For her, it wasn't just about smelling good, it was about creating a lasting memory, one spritz at a time. Marilyn Monroe, sleeping pills. For Marilyn Monroe, fame came with a heavy toll, and sleeping pills became her refuge. With her mind constantly racing from the pressures of Hollywood and personal heartbreaks, pills offered her a temporary escape. Nights became a struggle, and rest was something she had to chase. The pills became both a comfort and a crutch, highlighting the darker side of her glamorous life. For Marilyn, peace was as elusive as the stardom she embodied. Marlon Brando, food. Marlon Brando's appetite was legendary, rivaling even his acting prowess. Midnight burger runs were his specialty, and he wasn't shy about indulging in hearty meals or decadent treats. Food wasn't just sustenance for Brando, it was joy, comfort, and a way to celebrate life. His love for culinary delights became as iconic as his performances, showing a more relatable, down-to-earth side to the Hollywood legend. Myrna Loy, dogs. Myrna Loy's love for dogs went beyond affection. It was a defining trait. She couldn't walk past a stray without feeling the urge to bring it home. Her house became a haven for pups of all shapes and sizes, each one loved and cherished as part of her family. For Myrna, dogs were more than pets. They were a source of unconditional love and joy. Her devotion to her furry companions showcased her nurturing nature, and friends often marveled at her ability to juggle Hollywood life with her growing pack of loyal dogs. Loy's passion for rescuing dogs wasn't just a hobby, it was a testament to her big heart and compassionate spirit. Natalie Wood, shopping. Shopping was more than a pastime for Natalie Wood. It was her way of finding balance in a chaotic world. Whenever she felt stressed or overwhelmed, she'd lose herself in the racks of designer stores and chic boutiques. For Natalie, fashion wasn't just about looking good, it was a form of self-expression. Her wardrobe was an extension of her personality, vibrant, stylish, and timeless. Friends recalled how she could spend hours hunting for the perfect piece, and the joy she felt when finding it was unmistakable. Shopping wasn't just an indulgence for Natalie. It was a way to take control and add a bit of sparkle to her busy life. Orson Welles, alcohol. Orson Welles' relationship with alcohol was as dramatic as his larger-than-life persona. When the pressures of directing, acting, or fame got too intense, he'd turn to a stiff drink for solace. A glass of wine or a splash of bourbon became his escape, helping him manage the stress of his wildly creative endeavors. Welles was unapologetic about his habit, often incorporating it into his persona as a bon vivant. Despite the toll it may have taken, he maintained his reputation as a genius in the industry. For Orson, alcohol wasn't just a habit, it was a coping mechanism, a way to fuel his creative spirit while navigating the challenges of his complex life. Paul Newman, racing. For Paul Newman, racing wasn't just a casual interest, it was his second love after acting. The roar of engines and the rush of the track became his refuge from Hollywood. Newman didn't just dabble in racing, he immersed himself, competing in professional events and earning respect as a serious driver. It wasn't about fame or trophies, it was about the adrenaline and the challenge. The precision required to master a race mirrored his meticulous approach to acting. For Paul, racing wasn't just an escape, it was a passion that let him explore a side of himself untouched by the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Rita Hayworth, chocolate. Chocolate was Rita Hayworth's guilty pleasure, a secret indulgence that brought her comfort in the demanding world of Hollywood. Between takes, she would sneak bites of her favorite treat, savoring the rich sweetness that helped her power through grueling days on set. For Rita, chocolate wasn't just about satisfying a craving, it was her way of finding a moment of joy amid the pressures of stardom. Her love for chocolate was no secret to those around her, who often saw her light up with a smile whenever she had a piece in hand. For Rita, chocolate wasn't just a snack, it was a simple pleasure that reminded her to enjoy life's sweeter moments. Rock Hudson, sugar. Rock Hudson had a sweet tooth that he never tried to hide. Whether it was chocolate bars, hard candies, or sugary desserts, he always had a stash nearby. For Hudson, sugar was more than just a treat. It was a pick-me-up during long filming schedules and demanding shoots. His love for sweets became a charming quirk, something friends and colleagues fondly teased him about. Indulging his sweet tooth wasn't just about enjoyment. It was his way of adding a little fun and happiness to the high-pressure world of Hollywood. For Rock, a candy bar wasn't just a snack. It was a small reminder that life should always have a little sweetness. Shirley Temple, dolls. Even as an adult, Shirley Temple's collection of dolls remained one of her greatest treasures. Each doll on her shelves was lovingly chosen, representing a memory or moment from her life. For Shirley, these weren't just toys. They were keepsakes of her childhood, a reminder of the innocence and joy that shaped her early years. Friends recalled how her face would light up as she shared the stories behind each doll. In the fast-paced world of fame, her collection was a sanctuary, a tangible link to the simplicity of her youth. For Shirley, dolls weren't just decorations. They were symbols of a life that, despite its challenges, always held moments of magic. Sophia Loren. Pizza. Sophia Loren's love for pizza was as unapologetic as her confidence. She openly celebrated her fondness for the dish, often crediting it for her iconic curves. While others fretted over diets, Sophia embraced the joy of a perfectly baked pizza, savoring each bite with no regrets. Her approach to food was refreshingly simple. Eat what makes you happy. For Sophia, pizza wasn't just a meal. It was a symbol of her philosophy to enjoy life's pleasures fully. Her love for the classic dish made her relatable, proving that even a glamorous star like her couldn't resist the allure of melted cheese and crispy crusts. Spencer Tracy. Alcohol. Spencer Tracy's fondness for alcohol was well known in Hollywood circles. Whether sharing a drink with friends or seeking solace in solitude, alcohol was his constant companion. Even though it sometimes led to tough mornings and personal challenges, Tracy remained one of the most respected actors of his time. He managed to deliver powerful performances, even when battling the effects of his indulgence. For Spencer, alcohol wasn't just a drink. It was his way of coping with the immense pressure and expectations that came with being a Hollywood icon. Tony Curtis. Women. Tony Curtis's charm was legendary, and his love for women became a defining aspect of his persona. Known for his charisma and good looks, Curtis was rarely far from the headlines, often linked to some of Hollywood's most beautiful women. His romantic escapades weren't just about fleeting passion. They were a way for him to embrace life's excitement. For Tony, relationships were more than just affairs. They were adventures that kept his life colorful and dynamic. Despite his reputation as a womanizer, his confidence and magnetism made him unforgettable, cementing his place as one of Hollywood's most charismatic stars. Vivien Leigh. Tranquilizers. Vivien Leigh's use of tranquilizers was a reflection of the immense pressures she faced both professionally and personally. The demands of stardom, coupled with her battles with bipolar disorder, pushed her to seek relief in pills. For Vivien, tranquilizers were a double-edged sword, offering temporary peace while masking deeper struggles. Despite her reliance on them, she continued to deliver performances of breathtaking intensity, captivating audiences worldwide. Her struggles humanized her, showing that even the brightest stars have shadows. For Vivien, tranquilizers weren't just a coping mechanism. They were a silent testament to the challenges she faced behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood.